Alright, we've got another match here. This time it's QQ versus Chesire. Let's get into game number 1. Alright, in the left, QQ, rocking the Fox Owl Artillery. And over on the right-hand side, Chesire Saxophone, with a more traditional style deck here. A nice menagerie of Tier 1 and Tier 2, followed up by a Tier 3 and a turret. Turrets, curious what people think about turrets nowadays. I'm personally not a big fan of structures, but they do come in handy. If you are going to take any turret, any structure, I think turret is probably the best one because it, look at this, hang on, 4 farm double from QQ. And this is exactly a situation where a turret would be quite nice. And Chesire needs to see this. I believe he did. Oh, I'm terrible with the camera angle there. Okay, he does see it. So this is where a turret is nice. Oh no, what are you doing? I meant to, oh, okay, but still, this could be the problem with defense, is that QQ could just kind of run around it. Also 6, okay, QQ just commits to 3. I was gonna say 6 lizards can actually kill the turrets. So actually, Chesire, the big thing to note here is the farms. So 6 farms versus 5. So Chesire's defense was phenomenal here. Great job with these turrets. Is gonna throw down a Squirrel Warren. And should feel comfy enough to take the last farm. There it is. Okay, sell off probably that full health turrets. So QQ is getting the 8th farm down a little bit faster. But now that Chesire has verified that those Warrens are gone, should feel okay. Actually, it looks like the Q farm got paid for anyway. So kind of sucks that he does need to wait till this turret heals back up all the way to get that full refund. But 120 food in the bank. We going for a skunk? There's the skunk. And now he can sell off that turret. Choosing to keep it, though, for now. I'm generally in disagreement about that. Turrets are very great because you can throw them down in such a pinch. They only take 10 seconds to build, the same amount of time as a Tier 1 unit. Airlu says he came up ahead of that. Chesire or QQ? I feel like Chesire, maybe. He did kill a lizard. Look at this base, though, from QQ. Is he going to take the arty? Are we having an arty party here? Yeah, Airlu thinks that was good for Chesire. I tend to agree. I think he could have sold that turret a little bit faster. Is QQ giving us an arty party, though? I don't know, man. He needs to be careful. Like, Chesire's got a no-nonsense comp here. Like, Squirrel Skunk, phenomenal early game composition. I love this game of Tooth and Tail Chesire's playing. He's getting an expansion. He's not overdoing it. Here's the arty, dude. Oh, no. So Chesire, this is where, like, it gets a little tough, but Chesire should be able to read QQ's base and realize food is missing. There's 240 food invested over here. That Chesire has no... So I wouldn't be thinking there's an artillery. Like, Chesire never even scouted that there's a mill there. I would be thinking there's a Tier 3. Or there's a hidden base with mills on it. But Chesire hasn't really been doing, like, deep, consistent scouts, which is very important in Tooth and Tail. If you want any advice from me to improve your Tooth and Tail game, is constantly be scouting your opponent. And reacting to what they do. And here we go. Now, to be fair, this artillery sucks. Oh, wow. How many farms is it going to get? God, I'm always impressed with the range of an artillery cannon. I'm surprised QQ didn't just sell that arty there. It's still kind of a painful... Okay, Chesire has falcons, but yeah, as his army's out of position, here comes Chesire in the front, or QQ on the front. But again, Chesire's army's just a little bit more powerful. And without the commander vision, the artillery actually doesn't have... sight on Chesire's base to keep being a nuisance. So Chesire feels confident. He's like, you know what? You've got all this money invested in an artillery cannon that's doing nothing for you. I'm going to knock on your front door. There might be 2 dead skunks. I would be really careful about these skunks. If you pull them back, they might live. Oh, they would have lived. But the re-rally, there's so much Tier 1 here from QQ. I don't know. I still feel pretty okay for Chesire here. He's got the second base up. He's got a farm on it. QQ is going to start farming over here. And he's going to stand there and let the artillery get a couple pigs. But in the meantime, Chesire's attacking, but he lost his commander. This should still be a decent trade. The Falcon lives. That'd be nice for Chesire. The Falcons should live, especially the moat. kind of slowing down the ground units here. All right, it's got to hold the ground, hold the line here though. Can't let QQ take the second base. And what's nice is that this mill's been up for so long, it's actually gaining HP. So that's another thing if you don't watch a lot of modern Tooth and Tail. Mills start with a lower amount of HP and gain more HP over time. This change was for a couple reasons. Number one was to encourage more aggression. Number two was to stop, like, tank mills. So you could kind of push and build a mill, like this mill right here, and then it just has so much HP. It's kind of a pain in the butt, so... Oh, this is becoming a scrappy game. Chesire just wants to get that extra war, and he's so close. Ah! Alright, I think you gotta sell your tier 2 here, brother. He's got 15 squirrel warrants. I like that army comp. Just get rid of your tier 2. But this should be looking better for QQ. He's got more farms on that second base. Chesire's overextending a little bit. Kind of getting his units picked off one by one. Oh no, this artillery. What sucks for Chesire is he did have falcons earlier, so there was a point in the game where he could have taken like a single falcon and dealt with this. I know that's easier said than done, especially because it's very awkward routing. Like, you gotta route your commander all the way around like this to get over there and do that. QQ's group is putting up a fight, says Meek. I know, I'm actually really surprised how close these games are. I think both Hellwino and Chesire could have beaten QQ with just a little bit of different decision making, you know? I think Chesire overextended a couple times here. You know, didn't quite rally at the same time at the right times. He's gonna clean up Chesire, but I'm sorry, QQ, but QQ's got another base. He's got an artillery defending it. So QQ could kind of just reset this game. There's no way that a handful of squirrels can deal with this base when it's protected by the artillery. So he's gonna move in and try to do it, but I think that is an idle commander of defeat right there. So we should be seeing the GG. Weird. I think Chesire, you caught up. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, let me put the right score on the board here. So 1-0 for QQ, but again, a tight game, and I think Chesire played smart. It was a weird position to be in. I mean, it's easy for us to criticize not handling that artillery right, but it's a weird spot to be in. There's so much pressure in tournament matches. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I play my tournament matches, my heart rate's going. You know, there's a lot of stress, and I think Chesire was really close. I think a little bit better decision making with some of his attacks, and he could have won. All right, here we go. Match number 2. All right, on the left-hand side with the Fox Artie, we got QQ, and on the right, in the green with the Wolf Owl, we got Chesire. This looks like the comp of a couple of years ago. Oh no, we needed snakes in there, right? Besides the balloon, wasn't it like skunk, snake, wolf, owl, something like that? It was like crazy strong. I like Chesire's composition better for sure. If he can get there, that's the thing. QQ is such a scrappy player. You know, you're not going to find yourself in a late game, you know, 16 farm, handshake agreement. We'll probably see that with Melvin Fro versus Tatanka later today. You know, you'll see that 16 farm, gentleman agreement type match. QQ is not going to let you do that. But I think if the match did become a big late game brawl, Chesire's definitely got the better army comp. You know, Falcon, Skunk, Owl is a great way to play. Now, the Fox is good against a lot of Chesire's... It's weird, like, the Fox has Chesire in the first half, and it's terrible in the second half, right? Like, Fox is amazing against Skunk, Falcon, and Squirrel, and absolutely terrible against Owl, Wolf, Balloon. But will we even see a Fox this game? Probably not. It is a large map, but kind of awkward. I mean... It looks larger than it is, I think. You know, I mean, look at that rush distance. It's really not that far. And that's something that I kind of try to keep in mind when I'm debating if I want to try to macro, if I need to kind of be scrappy in my one base play, is how far is that rush distance, right? If the rush distance is really big, you can get a second base up, you can get some farms, and even if they attack, you'll be okay. But In a smaller rush distance map, you know, you could just straight up lose the game by trying to eco too fast if your opponent's going for like double tier 2, bunch of tier 1. We'll see, no major decisions yet. Well, I guess we kind of have a decision here. The decision is the mass tier 1 on one base. This is what I call tier 1 chicken. Neither player wants to be caught with their pants down trying to transition to tier 2 or economy, while the opponent's just building like 25 squirrels and attacking your face. Okay, so as I say that, of course, the Falcon comes down, but no, he changes his mind. Oh, let's see it. Let's go. Chesire go for the Owl. Interesting. I think the Wolf is probably the better first tier 3, but this is where you can get in trouble. Here comes QQ. A lot of toads, and this is where you can get really punished for only having one tier 1, because you would like to have something else to help you know, tank for these toads, you know, lizards or moles or anything. Here comes QQ with the big attack. He's trying to be very careful with when he's gonna bring in his toads, and here we go. The toads actually not making the best engagements. They trade for a Warren, but that's really it. And Chesire are gonna be able to defend this, and he's got the Owl building on the backside. Very good. Now keep in mind, QQ did get a farm. He did get some Warrens, but that, in my opinion, was a much better engagement for Chesire. QQ is getting tier 2. He's getting a second base. Chesire pays for his Owl. I love, oh yeah, just go tier 1. This is great. This is absolutely great against QQ's comp. The toads are going to be worthless against the mice. Now, the big difference here is that QQ has that second base, and QQ is a good player. He sees that there's no second base from Chesire. He knows something weird's going on, and there it is. He sees the weirdness. He sees the Owl in play. So what's going to be his response? He doesn't really have anything good against Owls, unfortunately. The tier 1 just kind of gets wrecked. I mean, the Falcons are good, but the Falcons need something to tank for them on the ground. You know, sells out of the toads. It's what you got to do. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, this is a tough, like, Owl kind of wrecks QQ's comp. As much as I'm saying the Wolf is a better first pick. Now, here's back in the day, like several years ago, there was a big, like, and I was a one base tier 3er because I'd always like to get my Fox out. Fox is a lot of fun to play with. High risk, high reward kind of unit. But this is the problem, right? Like, this is classic Tooth and Tail. Chesire got the tier 3. He's got a really large army, but QQ's got the second base up and running. And I don't want to say QQ, like, handled this right or something because he didn't know about the tier 3, but that would be a big response. Back in the day, you see your opponent going for one base tier 3, you're like, fine, they're not going to be able to attack me for a couple minutes. Let me just get a second base up. Let me get my farms rolling. And then I could build an army after that and still have plenty of time. So Chesire can leverage this balloon, leverage the Owl, but he's got to catch up in economy, like, immediately, and he's not doing that. He's getting a second Owl. So even though QQ's got this, I'm sorry, Chesire, in my opinion, has a better army comp, for the time being, QQ's just gonna win based on sheer numbers. He can do the Zap Brannigan method and just throw bodies at Chesire if he's got a big enough economy. I mean, look at this. 3 bases up and running. Chesire's gotta get 16 farms, though. He just absolutely has to. All right, QQ gonna come in here for the attack. And I think this is a little bit ill-advised. He does end up getting that balloon. Okay, oh, if he gets the Owl here, that might be game. But again, this is what I was talking about, right? Like, Squirrel Falcon should not beat Squirrel Owl Balloon, but it's just a matter of money, and he gets that as well. Really well played from QQ. Yeah, Chesire just did not respect the economy. In his defense, I don't think he knew how far behind on economy he was, but, like, look at this, right? Like, that's really what happened this match. So a quick series here, 2-0 for QQ.